Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Monroe Township Combined Agenda and Regular Meeting on this September 6, 2023. Would we all please rise as we honor our flag, and please remain standing for a moment of silence for retired Lieutenant J.K. Gross, who is currently the Police Department's evidence clerk. He served Monroe Township for 47 years and died suddenly on Thursday, August 31st. And also a senator and the former mayor of Monroe Township, Peter Garibaldi, passed away on August 20th. He will be forever remembered and thanked for his service to his country on Monroe Township. Please, we honor our flag with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated, please. Will the clerk call the roll?
Councilwoman Miriam Cohen.
Present.
Councilman Charles DePiero.
Here.
Councilman Michael Markell.
Present.
Councilwoman Rupa P. Siegel.
Here.
Councilman Terrence Van Zura.
Here.
Please let the record show that our mayor is absent this evening.
So noted. Please, the clerk, please read the Sunshine Law into the record.
In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, it is hereby announced and shall be entered into the minutes of this meeting that adequate notice has been provided by the following. Posted on the bulletin boards within the municipal building on December 30th, 2022, and remains posted at that location for public inspection. Printed in the Home News Tribune and the Cranberry Press on December 30th, 2022, posted on the Monroe Township website, and sent to those individuals who have requested personal notice. In accordance with Chapter 3, Section 17 of the Monroe Township Code, public comment shall be limited to 5 minutes unless further time is granted by the council president.
Move to presentations and proclamations, and it is my turn. Not so usual. This chair leaves.
You want to move down to the podium?
Yes, I will.
Huh?
It's up there. There's a copy up there.
I don't normally do this. This normally belongs to the mayor, and he's not here this evening, so I'm going to get to do this. It is my distinct privilege and my honor to recognize Judy Obrees. You going to join me up here? Judy Obrees' name is a name we all know. And I am fond of saying to people that in the years where I was working actively in health departments in my profession of nursing, and I was your neighbor in the town of East Brunswick, I knew Judy Obrees' name long before I knew her. And I knew her because at varied state meetings, there would be discussions and always a mention of the work she did in emergency services. And I remember one meeting when someone went, "But Judy Obrees did that," and they're waving their hand in the air, and I've never forgotten that, so promise me you won't cry. Okay. And we have some points we wish to make. You have been the director of Monroe Township Emergency Medical Services Department for the last 54 years. You've been a driving force behind the growth and success of the Monroe Township First Aid Squad and the Monroe Township Municipal Ambulance Service. It was your unwavering determination and your vision for what could be that led to the incorporation of the Monroe Township First Aid Squad on June 1st of 1970. How very long ago that was. You started with a station wagon out of your own home, and you answered as many emergency calls as possible and spearheaded fundraising efforts to support the service. You played a pivotal role in the formation of the Monroe Township Ambulance Service in 1990. You have always had the mantra that said, to be there when you need me. And she's instilled this commitment in every member of the team. And any one of us who's ever dealt with our EMS department knows that that is true. We will be there when you need us. Her legacy in Monroe's emergency medical services will be remembered for many years to come. And think again, we will be there when you need us. She leaves behind a department that has flourished under her guidance and will continue to provide outstanding service to our residents under the direction of Rich Morris. Please join me in expressing our deepest gratitude to Judy Olbreys as she embarks on her retirement, which I seem to think will be accomplished by working at something. So, congratulations, Judy. And I get to give you this, I get to give you this plaque. It is beautiful because it expresses the sincere gratitude and support of many people who are honored by the work that you have done. Smile. You can't go away. Where is Council's Vice President? Councilman Ginzer.
Thank you, Madam President. I've been asked to read a proclamation from Bonnie Watson Coleman, who is our United States representative. It says, Dear Judy Olbreys, I am writing to commemorate you on your retirement after 53 years of excellent service with the Township of Monroe Volunteer and Municipal Emergency Medical Services. Your tireless dedication since 1970 have touched countless lives and leave a lasting impact. In acknowledging your tremendous tenure, I want to thank your unquestionable commitment towards the betterment of the Township of Monroe. Your work in establishing the Monroe Township Volunteer First Aid Squad, leading the Monroe Township Municipal Ambulance Services are truly admirable and demonstrate your level of commitment to the safety of the community of those around you. Additionally, during the difficult times of the COVID-19 pandemic, your leadership and wisdom was life-changing with leading the Emergency Medical Services Division. As your representative for the 12th Congressional District, it is an honor to acknowledge all you have done to support, guide, and teach the next generation of our state. I wish you the best of luck in all your future endeavors. Please accept my sincere congratulations on this new chapter. Congratulations on your retirement, and God bless. Sincerely, Bonnie Watson Coleman, Member of Congress. And also, as you had seen at the time of your breakfast at the Senior Center, everyone should know that we are going to have a street named Judy Olbreys Way, which will be right in the back of, by the police leading to the EMS, which is the most appropriate place it could probably be for all of her people, everyone that has followed in her footsteps, trying to do their best. So it'll be a great memory for all of them, and it'll be an honor, and they're going to know that you're watching them. Thank you. is for you. You're gonna need help with all these things here. You good? Doing all these? It's like Christmas in July up here. There you go. Thank you. And thank you. You did good today. You didn't get all worked up yet.
You know how she threatened me?
Thank you, everyone.
You want to say a few words, please?
Well, it's such an honor, and I'm so humbled by it. It's been my pleasure to serve the Township of Monroe all these years. I know what it is to really have needed help and have no one care. And we fought really hard to get this thing off in the beginning, but it's the people that you see in the back in uniform that have made it what it is today, and it's this group of governing body that supports it and keeps it going. And without their support, believe me, we'd be back in the street running bake sales and going door to door knocking, where people would throw change on the street and tell us to pick it up. But the town cares about the public tremendously and has given the right funding and everything to these people. And I'm so privileged with the quality of care that the EMS staff today has. And the responders across the board, the police, the fire, EMS, we've got the greatest of any town there is, and I can't say enough. But I can't share in this alone. I'm going to ask my two daughters to come up here, Donna Pabst and Diane Frazier. These kids did not have a mother all these years. He never had a mother while I was very busy doing this. They paid every bit of a sacrifice that I made to help this squad to what it is. Donna has left us a few years ago and made quite a success of herself in Virginia. She became a paramedic and a paramedic instructor down there, as well as a firefighter, which is how they work down there in the county. Diane, of course, you can see by the uniform, there's no one that knows any more about Monroe First Aid than her. She was 18 months old when it started. And the only way they could see their mother was to tag along with her. I'm not proud of that, believe me. And they deserve every bit of the recognition I would get for hanging in there all these years and somehow turning out to be great women. Donna, Donna come up from Virginia on a train, so we're not gonna make her carry flowers back on a train. Yours will be coming when you get back there. And Richie, can you come up here, please? Richie is the new director. He's going to kill me for this. He's the new director of EMS. He's the man I want you to all know because people are still calling me for the things they want and need. Richie is the one who is going to be the leader of this whole wonderful unit that stands before us today. Richie's wife is one of the most wonderful women there is because, as the Bible says, the man is the head of the family, but remember, the neck turns the head. And she had been horribly, horribly injured in a crash many years ago, has had multiple surgeries, and has been really disabled quite a bit over the past few years. And when Richie was coming through the ranks to groom for this position, the woman was incredible. She never put demands on him and insisted that he go and continue doing the midnight phone calls, the coming out in the middle of the night when she lost her husband. So Sarah's not here tonight because unfortunately she is ill. So we're going to let Richie have a bouquet. And you take them home. But Richie will be the one that leads you through forever now. Thank you all for everything, for the recognition. I'm so humbled by everything. And then the lady that sits here is Eileen Bianis. She's the glue of this town that holds it together. And honestly, I can't thank you enough for all you've done for EMS as well. Thank you all.
I would not like to be remiss. I think that our council members would like to say a few words. I will begin on my immediate right and proceed that way. Councilman, woman, please.
Thank you. Judy, so I will let the public know, for the last couple months, every time I've seen Judy, she's made me cry right alongside with her, and I think she's made many others cry too. But in all honesty, I want to first thank you for really, truly opening your arms and welcoming me. When I first started, it was big hugs from Judy welcoming me on to the council. And over the last couple months, I've learned so much about your impact that you've made in this town, in EMS, in our community, in the state of New Jersey. It's just tremendous. I'm looking forward to that lunch that you promised me so I can learn more and hear more of what you've done. But I think Mayor Delina had said it somewhere along the way that every time we see an ambulance truck go out, there's a piece of Judy's legacy that's going out that truck. So I will always think of you, and I thank you for everything that you've done. And it has been wonderful knowing you, and I know we're going to work with you as years come on, but I just wanted to wish you all the best in your retirement.
You done?
You know, Judy, I don't consider myself a young person anymore, but I'm reading this plaque and it says that you were starting in 1970. I was in like ninth grade in 1970, and I bet there's probably some people here who were, you know, maybe not even born yet at that point. What you've done in dedication it's just unbelievable. It's hard to even put into words. We've had a few different celebrations, as you know, but nothing that we've done for you compares to what you've done for our town. So I just want to thank you from the bottom of our heart, and we wish you nothing but the best. And like I say, I know that even if you're not there working, your presence will always be there. And if people follow your leadership, we're in good shape here in Monroe. Thank you so much.
Councilman Markel.
I would just like to say that a community like this is determined by boundaries, by political boundaries. But the goodness of a town and the way a town works is by people like Judy. This town is great because of people like you, not because of our boundaries, not because of our roads, but because we have people like you that have dedicated your life to helping the citizens here. And just, I want to thank you, and I'm sure everybody here feels the same way. Thank you very much.
Councilman DePiero.
Judy, I think back in 1970, and I wasn't even double digits yet, but I want to say this. There was about 8,000 residents in the township, and you served each and every one of us, and you touched each and every one of us. And I want to thank your family for the sacrifice that they made, that you made for all of us. And we will never forget that. And being here all my life, and every time I hear the whistles go, thinking that when we had 5 or 6 police officers on the force, we had very small first responders then, and the town grew, and how the town grew. And you always rose to the occasion, as just we said before about COVID and everything else. And you will always have the key to Monroe Township, and you are definitely a leader in our community, and we will never forget that. And again, thank you for you and for everything you've done for all of us, including your family. I want to say thank you. And if you need anything, you always come back. You can call us. You can stop by at any time. But I'll tell you, in my heart, I just want to say thank you. And my family appreciates everything, and our community appreciates everything that you've done. And wish you well in your retirement. And enjoy your retirement as much as you did this career, a long career. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. The town is honored and we are honored, and now it's our turn to take pictures. So we're going to have a 5-minute recess. So Mr. Weinberg, you're going to organize our pictures. Thank you all. Please never forget the service, not only of Judy Obreys, who will live in our hearts forever, but of the service of all who work in our EMS services and our fire and police. They are truly wonderful. We are now recessed for 5 minutes for pictures, please. Meeting is once more called to order, please. Thank you all, and please take your seats. Everyone is always welcome to stay. No requirements, Lee. Thank you. In addition, this is also Child Cancer Awareness Month. September of '23, Go Gold is the phrase. It's also Sepsis Awareness Month in September 2023, and Balance Awareness Week in terms of vestibular disorder, the 17th of September through the 23rd of September. Would the clerk read ordinance for second reading, item 6, please?
08-2023-023, ordinance authorizing the Township of Monroe to assume an access easement to Lot 21.04 on Lot 21.02, Block 60, accept the dedication of lots 21.17 and 21.18 in Block 60 for stormwater management purposes, and accept deeds of conveyance of drainage and access easements for lots 21.17 and 21.18 in Block 60.
Number 7, the ordinance for introduction at our meeting, please.
09-2023-024, ordinance authorizing the Township of Monroe to acquire a right-of-way dedication over property at 400 Spotswood Gravel Hill Road, known as Block 76, Lot 6.02, on the Township of Monroe tax map.
Please do the following now.
09-2023-025, ordinance amending Chapter 116 of the Code of the Township of Monroe entitled Towing and Storing of Vehicles.
Thank you. Item 8 are the resolutions for consideration under the consent agenda at the September 6, 2023 regular meeting. That would be R9 2023-209 through R9 2023-222. Would all council people please review the resolutions if you have not done so already? Any comments? We're good. Okay, anyone else? We now move to the public comment section of our agenda, limited to agenda items only. 5 minutes per speaker, please. May I have a motion to open the public comment section?
So moved.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Public comment section is now open. Anyone wishing to address the council, please come forward and state your name and address for our records. Good evening.
How are you? Good evening, everybody. My name is Joellen Arabito. I live at 22 Old Rossmore Drive. In regards to the charging station that you hope to implement, I have one, maybe a couple more specific questions. How much usage does the library get at this time? Or does it get a lot of usage? Do a lot of people go there to, before we actually invest in this endeavor, just how much usage does the library get for this endeavor?
For our residents, how
Yeah.
many of our
Do you-
residents
is there
use
a
the
record
library?
Yeah, no, the charging station at the library.
Mr. Weinberg,
Yeah, my understanding, and I'm not looking at it all the time, is that it always does seem to be full. More and more people are getting electric vehicles, so it's becoming more and more popular.
Okay, so we're getting a grant for $24,000, correct?
That's correct, through the
Please,
council
Is-
president,
continue
yes.
that.
Is there a
Thank you.
soft, does that include the soft and the hard course?
Municipalities were allowed to apply for grants. I think we got the largest you could get. It's our expectation that the $8,000 would include the purchase and installation of the unit itself. So it should cover most everything. We'll go, once this is approved, we'll go out to state contract and get some quotes to put them in. And our expectation, based on the grant that the BPU did, is that this would cover the costs of the entire thing.
So soft and hard course.
Correct.
Is there going to be, what's the cost to actually go, I don't have an electric car, so
Sure.
what's the actual cost to
Sure.
utilize this?
So, Council President, if I may, we've just recently begun, since we got the award, doing a survey of what other towns are charging. And towns do it a couple different ways. There's a lot of towns that seem to have a reasonable rate for the first hour, while people may be in the library or the senior center, but they don't really want someone using the spot for 5 hours because they want it to ultimately turn over. So sometimes you see that increase, that cost per hour increase in hours, 2 through 4. Some locations do it a little less expensive when the building's not open, but obviously we would make sure that we cover our costs because we have to make sure that we cover the electrical cost to us. So right now, we're in the process of looking at the cost structure of other towns. It will cost money to use it when these 3 get introduced, but it'll be reasonable and it'll be based on what other towns are doing to try and encourage people to use it, but not take advantage and be there all day.
Okay, and will there be any type of charge to the taxpayer for the maintenance of this?
This is our first effort in this. I don't believe there will be. By charging the residents to use the electric, that will cover not just the electric charge, but some of the operations as well. But more and more people have electric vehicles, so this seems to be the wave of the future that they need access to this from time to time in order to operate around the community.
I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else wishing to address the council in this session? Seeing and hearing none, I will entertain a motion to close the public portion of the meeting.
Motion.
Second, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Any
May I
opposed?
have, any opposed? Somehow Robert's rules does require we ask that. No. I'd like a motion to adjourn this meeting, please.
So moved.
May I have a second on that?
Second.
Second. Roll call.
Councilman DePiero?
Yes.
Councilman Markel?
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel?
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zura?
Yes.
Council President Cohen?
Yes. Agenda meeting is closed. What time?
7:10.
And the regular meeting is now called to order. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. May I have a second on that?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman DePiero?
Yes.
Councilman Markel?
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel?
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zura?
Yes.
Council President Cohen?
Yes. May I have a motion to approve the payment of claims per the run date of August 31st, 2023?
Motion to approve.
May I have a second on that?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman DePiero?
Abstain?
Councilman Markel?
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel?
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zura?
Yes.
Council President Cohen?
Abstain. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the following meetings as written and presented? The August 7th meeting, agenda, and combined regular meeting. Motion, please.
Motion.
Second, please.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman DePiero?
Yes.
Councilman Markel?
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel?
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zura?
Yes.
Council President Cohen?
Yes. Ordinance for second reading, 08-2023-023. The ordinance authorizing the Township of Monroe to assume an access easement to Lot 21.04 on Lot 21.02, Block 60, except the dedication of lots 21.17 and 21.18 in Block 60 for stormwater management purposes, and accept deeds of conveyance of drainage and access easements for Lot 21.17 and 21.18 in Block 60. I'd like a motion to open a public hearing on this ordinance, please.
So moved.
Thank you. May I have a second on that?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Public hearing is open. The usual rules apply. Please come forward if you wish to address the council, stating your name and address, and everyone has 5 minutes to speak. Seeing and hearing none, I'll take a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion.
Thank you. May I have a second on that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Motion carries. May I have a motion to adopt ordinance 08-2023-023? Motion, please.
Motion.
Thank you. Second on that.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilman DePiero?
Yes.
Councilman Markel?
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel?
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zura?
Yes.
Council President Cohen?
Yes. Ordinance for introduction, 09-2023-024. The ordinance authorizing the Township of Monroe to acquire a right-of-way dedication over property at 400 Spotswood Gravel Hill Road, known as Block 76, Lot 6.02, on the Township of Monroe tax map. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilman DePiero.
Abstain?
Councilman Markel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes. Passes. Did I skip my?
Introduce. Yep.
Yes. 09-2023-025, an ordinance amending Chapter 116 of the Code of the Township of Monroe entitled Towing and Storing of Vehicles. Motion, please.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Councilman Markel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes. Item 6, the resolutions for consideration under the consent agenda. Repeating the numbers again, inclusive of R9 2023-209 through R9 2023-222. Motion, please.
So moved.
Thank you. A second on that, please.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Councilman Markel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes. Move to our report section of our agenda. Mr. Weinberg.
Thank you very much, Council President. I'll be somewhat brief. I will begin also by offering my condolences to the Gross family. Lieutenant Gross was committed to the township for almost 5 decades. He will be missed by law enforcement and his entire public safety family and the residents in the township that he served. Also, condolences to the family of former Senator and Mayor Peter Garibaldi. He was mayor for 12 years, which is certainly no easy task and certainly a lot of hard work. So my condolences to his family. Also would like to add very brief comments in recognizing, as the council recognized Judy Olbreys. Judy is a true maverick and leader in the field of EMS, building one of the most professional EMS departments in the state. People often need EMS at what is often the worst time of their life. And to have such an organized and professional group of people who are really so talented and so available with 5 stations, it's just really amazing what Judy, not alone, but as her team, built for this township. We are all incredibly lucky and thankful to the mayor and council for continuing to invest in our EMS services. As we all know, this is and continues to be a very hot week. So special thanks to our DPW, our Parks Department, our MTUD employees, and all of our employees who have to work outside in the heat. It's no easy task to get the job done. I know they start early in the morning, and it's hard for really anyone to be outside as you get to the afternoon. So special thanks to them. Switching gears, pleased to announce that Monroe is again the 2nd lowest overall effective tax rate in Middlesex County, that we're again our AA+ bond rating. And this is positive for our community because, as you may know, we refinanced almost all of our debt in the year 2020 and 2021 when the rates were so historically low, which has reduced our debt service, which has been positive on our budget. I do want to comment very briefly about the veterans housing. There are some misconceptions on social media, so just wanted to make sure everybody has the facts as it relates to that. Some of the comments are that it's not for veterans or it's part of a federal Section 8 program, and that is not correct. As many of you know, and those who come to meetings know, as part of our court settlement, in order to build affordable housing, we reserve 37 units that are exclusive for veterans, and it must be filled by veterans, and we're super excited about that. We're able to leverage additional state resources for an additional 43 units with a veterans preference, which is usually the most that you can do, and by building an extra 43 units, we ultimately save 172 units, not to get into the details of that, because every affordable unit you can build yourself saves you on the market as it relates to affordable housing. So these are affordable units. These units are similar to the affordable units that are already in the Stratford community, the Monroe Manor community, the Monroe Chase community, the Arbors community, the Monroe Park community, the Monroe Place community, and the villages at Country View. So this is really workforce housing I just looked it up to make sure we knew what we were talking about. A husband and wife could make up to $73,000 to qualify, up to $70,000 for low, middle, or moderate income. So that's who's going to be there. We're super excited to move forward on this. It's an exciting project, and I think, as the mayor has said many times, we owe a great debt of gratitude for all of us being here to our veterans, and that's what this facility will be. Just a quick reminder that the mayor wanted me to pass along, and other members may mention, that we'll have our remembrance ceremony for September 11th, next Monday at 8:30 a.m. at the 9/11 Park on Prospect Plains. Everyone is welcome to attend. You may hear this again, too. The Green Fair is on September 23rd, 10 to 3. Shredder trucks, seedling giveaways, electronic waste disposal, free cycling, and so much more. Please stop by and learn about the work that they're doing and how we can all support that. I want to wish everyone celebrating Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur beginning next week a meaningful holiday. And finally, with school beginning, I want to remind all residents to drive safely and carefully as the young people around the town move around. We should always be safe and careful, but particularly, as the students come back to school and as they're in session. So thank you, Council President.
My pleasure. Thank you. Our engineers report, Mr. Razumowitz.
Thank you, Council President. I'll give you a rundown on several projects we've been working on. First off, Old Bridge Englishtown Road, Mounts Mill Road, traffic signal, those intersection improvements, they're about to begin. We expect work to start out there in about 2 weeks. Update on Applegarth, Joan Warren Way, intersection improvements. The county and the traffic engineer were working out some final details. I hope to have a schedule on that next month. Our 2023 Township Road Paving Program, we finished most of the roads. They've been striped. 2 areas that remain, the EMS building and Town Hall, as well as a portion of Federal Road. That'll be scheduled to be repaved in the next week or 2 as well. Volleyball courts, the Veteran Park volleyball courts is nearly complete. Should be complete next week, and then they'll be moving over to Patriots Park to begin construction of the 2 volleyball courts there. Spotswood Gravel Hill Road, that's an NJDOT grant sponsored road reconstruction. They have started the concrete work out there, and they're pouring sidewalk this week. Spotswood Englishtown Road drainage improvements at Romero Court. That'll be starting next week, and we hope to have that wrapped up in about a month. And we are out to bid for township-wide sidewalk replacement and street trees. We would be looking to award that next month, as well as the Emergency Services Building on Halsey Reed Road. We are out to bid for drainage repairs on their on-site drainage. And again, we'd probably be looking to award that next month. And lastly, Middlesex County, they're finishing up some night work with American Water on Buckaloo Avenue near Barclay Brook School. For about another week, you'll see them out there doing night work, again, about another week, depending on weather. And that's my report.
Thank you. We'll move to our council reports. Councilwoman Siegel.
Great. Thank you, Council President. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to first start with my deepest condolences to the Garibaldi and Gross families for their losses. A couple things I want to share around some of the commissions that I liaison to. A lot of them have been working on some of the big events coming up this fall, so just want to get some more information out there to the community. The Historic Preservation Commission has their vintage baseball game coming up this Saturday, September 9th, from 12 to 3:30 at Dye Farm. You also can have the opportunity to watch the baseball game, but also tour the houses, and they have a lot of other fun activities planned for the day. Our Cultural Arts Commission has Art Rages coming up on October 15th. I know I mentioned this last meeting too, but it's a great family show and event, and they have started selling tickets. So if you're interested, please go ahead and check out their website to get your tickets. And also, a lot of other items that the commission does is they host and present different programs through the library too. And I know I just recently saw something about iPhone photography. So they offer different things if you have interest. So please check out their website and also the library. The Environmental Commission, as Mr. Weinberg mentioned, has their Green Fair coming up on September 23rd. One other nice thing, again, promoting some of the family items, is they're running a contest for students from ages 4 to 18, and they need to develop some artwork around a theme: small changes, big impact. What we can do, however small, that will have a big and positive impact on our environment. So some fun things to engage our students and get them involved in the environment. And then I just want to remind everyone that tomorrow is a dedication for Betty's Councilwoman Schneider's food pantry at the Senior Center, so please join us, and if you can't join us, make a donation, however big or however small you have. And again, around the September 11th Remembrance Ceremony this Monday, it is a beautiful ceremony. If you haven't had the opportunity to join us, it is very moving, and there's something, we all have our own memories of 9/11 and what it means to us, but there's something calming and peaceful when we're all there together. So I encourage you to come out. It is a really nice ceremony to be part of. And that's all my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Markell.
Well, it always seems that I go third or fourth, so everybody covers all my information, so nice knowing everybody. Actually, what I wanted to hit on, the 9/11 ceremony. I lived in about 25 miles from Manhattan when that went down, and I knew numerous people that were caught in the towers. Just talking, I'm actually choking up talking about it, because I know how it not only affected the person that died in the tower, but I know I was close to many of the families who lost people. So we have to remember this, and we have to show up for this remembrance. During that time, my daughter was going to NYU, and her dorm was at the South Street Seaport area, which was right near the towers. And needless to say, what a father goes through when the daughter's 4 or 5 blocks from something like that. So the 9/11 remembrance is very, very important to me, and I hope it's very important to everybody else. Please attend that. We have to remember what happened. It's very important. Secondly, to touch on one more thing, the dedication of the food pantry for Betty. In the relatively short time that I've lived in Monroe, Betty was my neighbor, and I got close to her very quickly, and I used to give her a ride somewhere, or we used to go someplace, and she used to say, "Oh, I love you and Barbara." My wife's name is Barbara. And unfortunately, when she passed away, it's not unfortunate I wound up here, but it's an unfortunate reason why I wound up here in this seat. And I always think about her every day. Every time I go to a meeting, every time I represent the community, I think about Betty. And I want to do not only for the people in Monroe, but I want to make sure Betty, she's looking down or looking up, I don't know which. She always says she wants to be with her friends. And I hope she's proud of me. But please, 9/11 ceremony is super important, and the food pantry is very important, the dedication. Just one thing, I found out that one of the items they need at the food pantry more than anything else is coffee and tea. They've got plenty of green beans, plenty of soup, but the people who go to these food pantries are always short of coffee and tea. So if you're going to donate something, think about ground coffee and tea bags, please, okay? And thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilman DePiero.
Thank you. Last meeting, we had a resident come in and bring it to our attention about four-wheelers going down Texas Road, and I was there on Labor Day, and I walked around a little bit, and I looked, and you see the mud all on the streets, and it's very obvious. It's a big problem. So I don't know if we had any updates with our police. If you can give us any updates on that?
Sure, yep. Certainly shared that with the chief and the police department, and it is a challenge. I mean, one of the greater challenge is that they're often in the woods, and, you know, our police officers are in police cars. So they do, whenever they get the chance, take the opportunity to, you know, hold them accountable if they're not following any of the appropriate laws and rules. But it is, you know, candidly, not that simple to catch someone on either a off-road dirt bike or four-wheeler out in the woods. But we certainly are aware of the issue, and if they come onto municipal roads or areas where we can more easily chase them and bring them to, you know, account in terms of following the rules, we certainly do that. But I don't want to portend to the public that it's somehow easy to catch an off-roader in the, you know, out in the woods.
Right, one of the things that we could do is on the side of, this side of the bridge is Monroe. Right by the sign it says, welcome to Monroe, welcome to Old Bridge. On the other side, there's, you can put a barricade across that so they can't get their four-wheelers. There's a guardrail there, there's our sign there. Just maybe something we can look into, because, you know, people put up fences. Sometimes they make the best neighbors' fences, and sometimes they don't. But I think it's something we could barricade the, and kind of look at it to maybe they'll determine not to come down there, and it will stop them from, if it stops a handful, it's a success. And it's just something that, I see it all the time up and down the road. You can see the mud, it's unbelievable. And you hear them going through the woods, as you said, and I understand our police can't go into the woods, and it's day and night, and it's, you know, they talk about fireworks, they talk about all different things, but this is something that's ongoing, and maybe on the weekend, you have a police officer there so that you catch one, they set the example, and then the rest might not come there anymore. So I just wanted to follow up on that one. The 9/11 is definitely very close to all of us. My brother and I, as I say, we built that park, and my two children read poems there for the first event there, and as Councilman said, you know, we all remember where we were. We all remember, and we'll never forget what happened, and it's just, and we all know somebody that had the loss or it affected, and we all need to be there, and in spirit, and we all need to be there in person if we can be. And are we going to have shuttles from here that would bring the residents like we used to?
In the past 6 years that I've attended, I think everyone has been able to park right there on Prospect Plains. I'm happy to talk to you about that, but we haven't had an issue of parking on Prospect Plains for the folks who've attended.
Because we always had shuttles that would meet here and park here, and if it might be something that we can offer to our residents, I'd like to see that if we can do it. And I want to say this, DPW worked so hard to get that drainage done through the weather, ordered a sod, they put sod down. It's just an amazing in-house project that we got to be proud of our staff that put that together, from our director all the way down to our landscapers, and the drainage that they did, our machine operators, everybody that did it. They were even there on Labor Day, watering the sod in this heat. So I want to shout out to everybody at DPW and everybody that was part of that. And speaking of DPW, there was a meeting with the union representative that used my name pretty freely, and I did call our business administrator about it. And this gentleman, you know, kept saying that I didn't sign the contract. Councilman DePiero didn't sign the contract, so we don't have a signed contract. And that's so far from the truth, because we all voted yes for the contracts, and we all supported our workers and our fellow employees here. And when someone says something and they put my name out there, they better have proof that it's the truth. And I don't want to sound like it's a threat, but I can tell you that it's so far from the truth, and that gentleman owes that department the truth that I did not sign a contract. I don't sign a contract. Our mayor signs the contract. We voted on it as a council, and it was unanimous. and we support our employees, and that's so far from the truth. But when people in that department told me that I'm the reason why they don't have a signed contract, that's when I reached out and I brought it up to Alan. I'm waiting for the answer, and hopefully he'll come back and he'll set the record straight. So I wanted to point that out. 9/23, the Green Fair, as we talked about. Hopefully our community can come together and come to the high school on the 23rd from 10 to 3. I wanted to ask our director of MTUD, what's the update on the water relocation for the main going down Old Bridge Englishtown Road? If you have a schedule and a time frame of when it will be completed.
Council President?
Yes, please, Mr.
That's a great question, Councilman. I'd be happy to give you an update, because as Mr. Razumowitz mentioned, the county's going to be starting the traffic light work there sometime within the next 2 weeks. And it's a very dynamic project in the sense that there's going to be 3 separate activities essentially occurring all at the same time. The traffic light, the installation of an improved stormwater, storm sewer network, as well as the relocation of the water main. So we are actually having a pre-construction meeting for the project to kick it off next Thursday at MTUD. We have invited the county's engineers, the county's contractor, our township engineers office, the police department. We'll have a number of different individuals there, and the schedule is one of the key elements that we are going to share, so that in the end we can coordinate the activities of both the county and the township, such that there won't be a conflict, and that we will get the job done as quickly and as effectively and as least disruptively as possible. We hope to start within 2 weeks, as Mr. Razumowitz said, and hope to be done by the end of October, beginning in November.
Thank you. Are there going to be any water services connected to this new main, or is it just the main itself?
No, all the existing water services will be moved over to the new main.
So our residents will be notified of everything from the contractor?
They will be notified, and the way we have it designed, there will only be a disruption of water service for approximately an hour while we switch over from the old main, which is going to be abandoned, in place to the new one.
Will our police be doing safety, safety there, or was the road going to be closed?
That's something that we're going to discuss during the pre-construction meeting, and actually have a traffic plan, put together by both the county and our unit.
And there'll be enough signage there to let our residents know, to find another alternate route for traffic, and because it's an area that's definitely, we've waited a long time for this.
Yes.
And I've received a lot of calls, and it's definitely something, we all have, it's something that's definitely needed. But thank you, Joe, and as always, thank you for doing a great job. Thank you.
Thank you, Council.
You're welcome. I wanted to shout out to Mark and Feist Engineering and Center State, and I still call them Feist, but Center State Engineering for the work that they did on the 2023 paving, and just so happy to see Mounts Mill Road paved. I think of our past mayor, Tamboro, because he pushed hard to get it paved, even though it's on the responsibility of the developer over there. And I just wanted to say thank you for your staff and for doing a great job. It came out really well, and right into the intersection of the traffic light. And it's a pleasure going down the road when it's smooth, and compared to holding on to the steering wheel and praying. So it's definitely, I want to say thank you finally, and it looks like the contractor's getting towards the end, so all his stockpiles are not a big mess. However, when you look at the other side, behind where the high intention lines and the gas lines are, he tends to get a little sloppy there. So let's keep an eye on the mixed piles of debris and different things that developer seems to have a #1 record in our community of doing that. So I just wanted to say thank you for the paving, and glad to see most of it get done before schools. Condolences to the families that we all said before, the Gross family and the Garibaldi family. I've known them both very well, and also for what they've done for our community over the years. It's hard to sit up here and always make sacrifices for what we all do. And I just wanted to say thank you to the families for the sacrifices that they made for the representatives that helped the community over the years. And as Alan said, our schools are open. I want to wish the teachers and the staff and all the students well, and hopefully they have a good, safe year and a successful year, and everything goes smooth in our schools. I had a question. I was watching TV and I saw our governor. He was talking about Atlantic City, where there's going to be it's supposed to be a location where we're going to be dropping off people and housing people in Atlantic City. Is there anything that we can do here as a council and mayor? What can we do to prepare, or just keep an eye on it? Is there something that we can do for the future? Because Atlantic City, I think of New York, I think of Philly, we're right in the middle, and it's something that we have to keep our eye on. Is there anything that we need to do?
I mean, just following the issue, Council President and Councilman, I think what the governor said is that New Jersey's not really in a position to handle any influx. I don't, as he had stated, he doesn't anticipate anyone coming to our state. So I don't anticipate anyone coming here based on his comments. Obviously, if individuals want to be involved, there's certainly nonprofit organizations that they can provide assistance to. But I believe what he said is that there was no plans for anyone to come to New Jersey at this point.
Yeah, well, it's just, we just have to be prepared and aware, because once it happens, it's too late. So it's something that we have to keep prepared, and we should definitely continue to watch our surrounding areas. And if there's something that we can do, let's get it done, in my opinion. I wanted to shout out to the post office. We talked about how long it took them to cut the trees down, and we never said thank you. Driving past there to see green trees instead of brown trees in the summertime, it's definitely a plus for our community, and I just wanted to say thank you for our administration that pushed to get that done, and I wanted to say it looks better for our community to see the green trees and say thank you. Alan, I sent an email reference to the server. Do we have any updates on what's going on with the server so we can get live meetings?
Right, so I just emailed you back. I'm in communication with the Board of Ed and hope to connect with them by the end of this week to confirm how best to move forward. I know it's a priority for the administration and the council, and so hopefully I'll have that update at the next meeting.
Oh, okay, good, because we definitely need it, for sure. And the last thing I wanted to say was I went to Farmer Al's. Bohinski family been here forever. And they were a little concerned and upset that when the road's closed, maybe we can do something for the businesses to have signs. Businesses are open. And I think back of Joe Indike Farm when that road was closed. The developer made a contribution on his own to the farm. The farmer, because there's a short window for a farmer when you raise strawberries all year long, and then you have a window of like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, as our farmers have a very short window, and they were fortunate enough to have a lot of rain, but too much of something is not enough it's not good for their profession. But when their businesses are open, but the road is closed, the residents don't want to go down a road that says closed, and they don't know if the business is open. And so I think it's something that when a road is closed, we should have a sign out there that says the businesses are still open. And now they're doing it. They're opening the road during the day because school opened. But there's only going to be a week. Maybe they do night work, but it's still something that we should notify our residents when a road is closed, as our businesses are open. If the businesses are open, if they're not open, then you put business closed. So it also helps our police not have traffic, and it also helps the contractors not have confusion, because it could be a dangerous situation where a car or a vehicle or guy on a bike or a person on a bike goes. So it's just something that maybe we should look into for the next road closure for our business owners. And that's it. Thank you.
Well, the mayor is not here tonight, but Terry is here. I think I'm getting Mr. Van Zura.
Almost skipped over me, huh?
I want to take a minute with me tonight, too.
Well, you know, again, going toward the end, so many people have already commented on the things that I was going to say, but I will join in our condolences to the family of Lieutenant Gross and the former Mayor Garibaldi. With respect to Betty's food drive, Betty Schneider food drive, we do have 2 more days, so if you can still make your contributions, it's at the Senior Center, and then at 6 o'clock tomorrow night will be the official dedication, if you have a chance to get by, so not a bad thing. I'm actually looking at the brochure that came around, and has in big letters, most needed items. Toothbrushes, toothpaste, soap, body wash, shampoo, conditioner, deodorant. You know, I don't know how well they're going to be fed, but they're going to smell good and they're going to be clean. So there's no problem about that. And it also says, please make sure all the items are new and unexpired. So you don't want you pulling out the jar of peanut butter that's on the back shelf for the last 3 years. They want you to get good stuff there. And of course, the other foods that are also welcome. Again, it's kind of odd we're having this sort of somber thing, but next week is, believe it or not, 9/11. I don't know where the summer went. I told Charlie before the meeting we're going to have to redesignate what constitutes summer, because it seems like summer doesn't start until August or September, and June, when you think it's summer, it's still just kind of like springtime. But 9/11 will be here. It's 2023. It's hard to believe. It's well over 20 years since that happened. And we all know people who were affected by it. So it's important. It begins at exactly 8:46 a.m., the moment that the first tower was struck. And it's very meaningful. And some of the people in town that have lost their own loved ones will be there. And it means a lot to them, as well as our veterans and first responders. So I know our council's there every single year, and certainly all of the town is invited, and it does give you some feeling that you're able to do just that little bit to make those people's lives a little bit better. We're coming down to last few weeks of farmers market, now that it's 90 degrees every day. Goes up till September 14th. It's from 2:30 to 6:30 at the library. Hopefully that'll continue. I know it was a really good success. I don't know the numbers for this year, but I would imagine with the people that we have in town that do different things, I would hope that they did well this year. One of the things I did go to about, I guess it was last week, we have, this is the first year we ever had this, Monroe Senior Softball. So our older citizens, and it's men and women too, get out and play softball down at the girls' softball fields down adjacent to the recycling center. And they had a particular event last week, Play for Pink event for breast cancer awareness. And what a success. These people, their first year, they took the bull by the horns and they went running with it. And I think, I'm trying to remember the number of players that they had, but it was many, many players. It was a great success, and this was a wonderful event that they offered for of course, a very good cause. And one of the things, because I forget who mentioned before, it might have been Charlie or someone else, talked about conditions of things around and the job DPW does. We went there. You gotta understand, my daughter was a softball player for many years. We use these fields. These are like among the top fields in the state. There's 3 fields over there, and it is a beautiful complex. Our baseball fields are wonderful. Our soccer fields are wonderful. Even our cricket fields, we get recognition for. So the job that it's a combination with the DPW, the rec department, whoever takes care of all those things, They really, really do a nice job. And when other people, people come to town from, different teams, travel teams and whatever, and they see it, we get many, many compliments. So it's a nice thing, and it leaves a good reputation for the town. Lastly, I'll just say, as you know, I usually like to at least make some comment about Ukraine. I don't want people to forget about it. The fight continues. It has gotten to the point where reports are that Kim Jong-un will be visiting Vladimir Putin to perhaps sell weapons to the Russians. I look at that two ways. Number one, it's certainly troubling to see these two different groups getting together for that purpose. On the other hand, if you want to be positive, it shows that the Ukrainians up till this point have withheld the Russians to some extent, that the Russian military is not as strong as it used to be and has to rely on another foreign power to obtain weapons. So, my thoughts again go out with the Ukrainian people. And you know what? Just don't forget that they continue to get bombarded. And it's not just soldiers that are getting killed. It's everyday civilians that are getting killed. Schools have been attacked. They've attacked hospitals and first responders. So my thoughts continue with the Ukrainians, and they will until this matter's resolved, and I'm glad to see that our country supports them. So that's my report for tonight. Thank you.
I'm going to ask my colleagues on the council to indulge me for a moment. I normally don't. I wanted to comment about something about the 9/11 event. As a result of that event, I spent 6 years doing disaster preparedness work for community health centers in New Jersey. And in traveling around the state and working with the health centers, one of the things I learned is that initially was that many of the health centers located in places like Jersey City, et cetera, they received the people who were evacuated from New York. And they described what the people looked like to me as we began planning for what health centers could have on hand to help out if we did have another catastrophe. And they said they found people wandering on the street covered in ash from head to toe. And we're not sure where they were because they hadn't expected to be on a train to Jersey City. So that when we celebrate, we remember and we honor those who were killed in 9/11, to remember that the widespread effect it had on all of us and all of the people that we know and don't know. But my second comment was you referred to my friend Betty's food bank, because every day Betty talked about needing to donate to the food bank. Several of my friends work in a food bank on a regular basis, and one of the things they brought to my attention is sometimes if you can put together a little meal for a child that they can heat up as you're nodding your head at me, that they can heat safely by themselves, because not all the people who use this food pantry are able to be home weekends with their children, or they have working shifts, and you want children who come home from school to be able to get a meal. And I'm watching someone who works with CASA nodding their head at me, so that when we donate, we have many areas to think about. Can we donate more specifically? But most of all, to remember that my friend Betty was passionate about the food bank and the importance of everyone that in this country, in our wonderful country that we have, no one should ever go hungry. So I didn't want to neglect to say that, because that was your sentence. I'm going to open for public comments now. I would like a motion to open the public comment section, please.
Motion.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Oh, I see. Yes, sir. Remember, it's 5 minutes per person. Name and address for our records, please. Mr. Gunkelman.
George Gunkelman, 5 Kelly Court. I wasn't planning on talking tonight, but there's an item came up. There's discussion about Texas Road and the ATVs and the four-wheelers. If someone from the administration could get together with the police and see if there's the need for a new ordinance. I worked in South Brunswick on a project, and we had a problem. It was one of the big warehouses up there, the then Barnes and Noble. It was the New Jersey Economic Development Project. But we had a problem with the ATVs coming in at night. And I got together with this South Brunswick Police Department, and they said, oh, we know what to do. We can take care of this. And I said, really? What's that? You know? And he said, we had, if I remember correctly, he had an ordinance that allowed them to impound the vehicles. And he said, you know, it can be a long time before those court cases come up. He said, the last thing they want to do is lose their vehicles for any period of time whatsoever. And he said, we can make it a very long period of time. And if we don't get the cooperation from the parents, when in the case of the younger people, then it gets to be longer. You know, but if the parents step up and feel that they can get control over the situation, we can have a court case and resolve it. But I don't know if what that exactly legislation, or not legislation, but ordinance was that allowed them to do that, but it was working for them, and it certainly put a stop to it on the site that I had. They just got the word out. They knew where they knew who it was, but you know, to prosecute them, you have to catch them. But they went around and told them and said, look, this is what we're going to do. And it did put an end to it on that site. Where they went to from there, I don't know. But the problem that we had on our site went away completely. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Weinberg's nodding his head.
No, I'm fine. I think it's a good idea.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gonkelman. Anyone else wishing to address?
I don't know.
Yes, please.
Just use mine. Just use mine. I'm using yours.
Again, your name and address for our record, please.
Sure. Joellen Arabito, 22 Rossmore Drive. So I want to express the same concern that Councilman DePiero has about the current situation with possible migrants coming into New Jersey. We do know that Governor Murphy declared the state of New Jersey a sanctuary state. Now, I'm from Staten Island, and I've been keeping tabs on the buses that they're bringing over to Staten Island. They're putting them in Catholic schools. God forbid they put it in the boys' state school. We need to be prepared if these migrants are being bussed in without anybody being foretold about it. Have you all thought about that?
Of course, we have thought about it. Why would we not?
But are you making preparations? I mean, most of these people aren't vetted, so we don't know what they're involved in. Will the children be vaccinated? Will they be?
At this point, we have no information that leads us to believe that any migrants are being sent to New Jersey or being sent to Monroe. That is the clearest information we have.
But as Councilman DePiero stated, we should be prepared. Staten Island wasn't expecting to have all those busloads of migrants being bussed over there.
Yeah, I mean, I would just appreciate the question. Obviously, this is a federal and regional issue. There's obviously 565 municipalities. Obviously, they're looking for places that might be empty. There's not a lot of empty things happening here in New Jersey, but I would reiterate what the council president said. The governor said there are no plans for this at this time, and so that's really the best thing. The planning for these type of endeavors does or should happen at the federal and regional and state level. It's hard for each individual municipality to have any knowledge about anything associated with this. So,
But if I may, sir, the federal has denied New York State, who welcomed the migrants into their area, and now they're struggling, and the federal government has told them. So we need to be prepared.
I don't know if...
No, what do you suggest?
Success?
What do you suggest
I don't
this
know, and
township
that's why I'm
do
coming to
in
you
order to
guys.
prepare for migrants? How much money do you want us to spend, and how much of our administration and everything else are we supposed to do?
why I'm up here.
No, no,
I'm
wha-
asking
no.
if you guys
I
are
am
making
asking
any
you because you're the one that's
preparations.
making this suggestion.
Because
We have already
it's
talked. You have to,
happening.
excuse me, ma'am, if you asked a question, I'm trying to give you an answer. I gave you the courtesy of speaking. I'd like you to give me the courtesy of giving an answer. What I'm trying to say is a town has to make a determination where to put its resources. There's a limited number of resources. We're concerned with taxes. We're concerned with what our police officers are doing. There's only a certain amount that you do before it goes out and it starts to cost money. You want us to go out and buy some extra homes so that we have them just in case the federal government
No,
decides?
that's
Of
not
course
what I'm
you don't.
suggesting.
No, I'm saying it's
Right.
so unrealistic and unlikely that it's one of those red herrings that you raised that is so unlikely to happen that you're going to try and blame the town for quote unquote not being ready. I would be willing to take my chances if they come. And if they were to come, knowing how our government runs here in New Jersey, I would like to think that our governor would give a heads up to the county would give a heads up to the town, and we would have sufficient time to prepare and do what might be necessary. But the probability of that happening is so slim and nil that it's not worth the time for the township to spend it. And I don't think that's right. And let's not forget how some of these people started getting to New York City. That was when the governor of Florida decided to use them as pawns and send them up there in the middle of the wintertime, telling them they were going to be promised jobs. So I don't think that this is a Monroe Township problem at this time. If we have further information indicating that it is potentially a problem, I am nothing but confidence in our administration that they will take every necessary step to make sure that we're properly prepared.
So just for the record, Mayor Adams welcomed them initially, just for the record. But thank you, thank you, sir.
Terry,
Thank
she is out of town, and what Mayor Adams did was Mayor Adams' decision. Anyone else wishing to address the council, please come forward now. Remember your name and address for the record. Oh, two.
Kind of a duo. We may not take up that much time.
Oh, no, I'm looking to make sure my microphone keeps turning off, and,
Yes, we were going
oh, now I'm working again.
to. Can you hear me?
I have hers. Go ahead, please, your name and address.
Sure. So my name is Rachel Dawn Davis, and I'm speaking in a work capacity. So my work address is 4 East River Road in Rumson, New Jersey, although I'm a neighbor in Manalapan. And I'm a volunteer, too, on our Veterans Committee and our Green Team. So I direct policy for an organization called Water Spirit, which is a nonprofit spiritual ecology center. And for 25 years, Water Spirit has been offering programming and advocacy activities centered on water as the source and sustainer of all life. And so I'm basically educating municipalities throughout the state for a few different reasons, and 3 of which I will share tonight with you. We are educating about stormwater utility exploration, green infrastructure, environmental justice as it relates to everything we do, and renewable energy. So we do have essentially resources that we can offer municipalities in terms of funding, even alerts of funding. Of course, we have the IRA funding that's going to be coming down. So love to hear that you're working on stormwater management and green infrastructure. So I just wanted to offer that up as something that we do. And then I am also going to be sharing which I think you may have received via email. We've talked a lot about health tonight. At least we've heard a lot about health and your great care of health and the recognition of heat. And so essentially I guess I started when I was a student realizing the economics of climate change. And so for the last 20 years, I've been doing this work in one capacity or another. So I've caught wind of a project that is proposed for Woodbridge that is an unnecessary dirty gas project. And through education and outreach efforts through the last year, we've been able to secure resolutions that municipalities have passed in opposition to this project. It is not only unnecessary, but it's also next to a body of water in the proximity of 70 schools within a 6-mile radius. So I have a copy of a resolution that I would be able to share with all of you. Just would love to have this entered into the record. I know it's something that has been emailed to you all as well.
Yes, it has.
Okay, great. And so just in that vein of small changes having a big impact, resolution passage is a great way to do that. And so just demonstrably, for especially young people today, to see leaders like yourselves actually, maybe you're not in the exact vicinity of Woodbridge, maybe you're 14 miles away, but you know that air and water know no bounds, and that we need to stop exacerbating climate chaos, especially for our first responders, especially for teachers, and especially for young people. So I will give you my business card. I'm happy to be in touch
You
with
can
you.
leave a copy of
if I
that
may.
as well, please. Feel free. A clerk, that's fine. Thank you very much. That's fine.
Got my cards there too? Yes. Good. My colleague and a resident. So here. Here's them.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Did you have anything else to say? Yeah, I
Yes.
just want to say thank you all for your time and your dedication over the many, many years that obviously you all have been involved. Especially, again, I have volunteered really ever since I was a student, and I put this together about, the potential for peace and not having oil and gas and not having war. Just really appreciate it, and I know that your time is valuable, and again,
You're most welcome.
we're focusing on this.
You're most welcome, and perhaps
Thank
you'll
you.
be at our Green Fair.
Absolutely, yeah, and we are definitely raising awareness about the
Thank you.
I'll drag
importance
her
of
and
air
her daughters
quality.
along.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
You're most welcome.
So my name is Ann Price. I also work at Water Spirit. I'm the program manager. I want to thank you for giving us this opportunity to address you. Yeah, I wrote notes because I will go off on a tangent.
We
so
won't
I'm
let you.
going to read it to you instead of just
Fine.
talking
That
from
is
my heart.
fine, because
Yeah, because I want to keep it short. So like Rachel Dawn Davis, I work for Water Spirit, but unlike Rachel, I live in Monroe.
I know that.
I've lived in Monroe for 26 years. I've lived in Middlesex County my entire life. I have a degree in natural resources management and applied ecology from Rutgers University. I've worked my entire career educating people about nature and inspiring people to love the outdoors. My Catholic faith demands that I protect the environment, so this is a moral issue for me as well. I was stunned when I learned that Woodbridge Township plans to build a massive new gas power plant in Middlesex County, polluting our air and water, and I urge you good people to pass a resolution to oppose the CPV gas plant in Woodbridge. The Keysby section of Woodbridge is only 14 miles away from this location. We used Google Maps, found that out today. 14 miles. So if you've ever gone across the bridge going over the Raritan River on the Parkway and you look down and enjoy that beautiful view of the Raritan River, that's where they want to build this gas power plant. So I am afraid. As a resident, I'm concerned about property values. I'm afraid for the health of my family, my neighbors, and all of the people in our wonderful town. I'm concerned about the impact of another gas power plant may have on this climate, will have on this climate. My home was flooded in Hurricane Irene. I was homeless for 3 months. This town saved me. As the climate crisis worsens, my fears of recurring disasters in our Garden State intensify. I'm not telling everyone to ditch modern technology and live in the dark ages. I'm realistic. I know we need power, but increasing power demands can be met with sustainable, renewable energy sources. We need to protect our town, our county, and our state. And that's why I've taught environmental education for 36 years, because I care. And I know you care too, because you're here. So once again, I urge you to pass a resolution stating that Monroe Township formally opposes CPV's gas plant in Woodbridge, New Jersey. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Anyone else wishing to speak to the council this evening, please come forward. Please. Your name and address for our records, please. Oh, don't fall.
My name is Pat Swalje, and I live at 586A Madison Drive. I've heard some beneficial things mentioned at the council this evening. I feel that Councilman DiPiero's query, whether we can have a sign when there's road work and businesses are affected, by that road work, by that closure of roads, that we could have signs up that say that a business is open. I think that's a very good suggestion, and I would hope that Councilman DiPiero follows up on that and make sure that in some way we can implement that. I'm rather shocked that the national situation with the migrants is being brought up here, and we're being asked as a community, what are we doing? I have an extra room and bathroom in my home. So if it comes to the point where we have to take in migrants, you know my name, and I have a room. The fact that it was mentioned, Catholic churches, may be asked to bring in, to put up migrants. They should be. If a religious organization is following the dictates of any religion, they should be taking these people. I don't think that parents walking 3,000 miles through Central and South America, most of the time with children, are drug dealers and rapists. My grandparents came from Poland. It wasn't Poland when they came in 1910. It was Galatia. They came with nothing. And yes, they went through Ellis Island, and somebody checked them to see that they were okay. I'm learning that that's not what's happening with these people who are being put on buses and sent across the country. They're not being vetted. Children are dying. So if we Americans, propose and say that we are the greatest nation on the earth, then we need to honor that statement. We need immigrant labor in our country. We see signs all over the place. Last time when we were preventing people from coming into the country, farmers were very much in need of that labor. So is it a problem? Yes, it is a problem. And I think it is a problem that we as Americans should have a open heart about. So again, I have a room and I have a bathroom. You can put me on the list. Thank you.
Anyone else wish to address the council this evening? Seeing and hearing none, I'm going to request a motion to close the public comment section, please. Aye. Thank you. May I have a second on that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Public comment section is closed. May I have a motion to adjourn our meeting?
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you for your attendance.